It has been many days since Greeve awoke in the unreal world. His body is still injured. He has almost no gear, but he was able to successfully down a reindeer. And with that humble kill, he can now feed himself and hopefully survive, at least for another week or two. Welcome to the channel, everybody. My name is Ryan, and we are playing the Unreal World today. We are back with our winter challenge. This is my second winter challenge. In fact, I've got a whole bunch of other Unreal World content on YouTube, so once you get done with this episode, if you still want more, check the description. I've got, like I say, 7 or 8 different series for this game, so I hope you enjoy it. And of course, we're back here with our main character. There he is, Greeve, and his physical profile. Now, he's definitely a little bit smaller or not as physically adept as most of the characters I play with, but that's because I chose a Drickalanian as his culture, whereas if we had chosen a Comalanian, he would be much bigger. But I've also got a whole tutorial series for this game too, so if you're interested in the differences in cultures, again, that's all linked down below. But all right, so we did end up getting, I think, a relatively small kill, right? Yeah, we had a reindeer. Here's the skin right here. It says, just a couple hours until this is ready. And I tell you what, I think what we're going to do, because it's winter time, but not quite. We're not in the dead of winter yet. We're on day 5 of the 10th week before midwinter, so definitely a few more weeks before the real cold temperatures set in. Although it's going to be a struggle, I think I'd like to maybe venture closer to our home territory, which is this teal-colored area. The Driik cultural boundaries are right here. And yeah, there's going to be a whole bunch of villages. Once we uncover this, we'll start to see little yellow dots pop up, and those are places filled with people, and more importantly, filled with goods that we can trade for. So we do have a bit of meat. I've just got some bones. Bones aren't much good for trading unless we can craft them into something, but let's take a look at our crafting menu. I don't have any mods installed for this playthrough, so I honestly don't think there's much we can do with bones unless we have the mods installed. But yeah, we could potentially work on some stuff like making cups. Block of wood, no, unfortunately we can't. See, this requires an axe. Yeah. The only tool Greeve started this world with was the knife he's got in his pocket. We got a little bit of clothing, but we really do want to get our hands on an axe. That's going to make so much more, of the game available to us. Not just crafting, but actually starting to build a cabin or whatever. So that's going to be our priority, is to gather up the meat that we've got here, because we got 18 roasted cuts, and I might actually sell some clothes. We'll see. I might be able to get away with trading them this fur that we've got, but we'll have to wait and just see how it turns out. So, well, the tooltip tells us we got a few more hours to go, so let's wait it out and we'll finish the skin up. All right, the skin is ready. And okay, now it's on its next stage, but let's see. It says it will be ready in a few hours, so we've got a bit of time to kill. Let's see, let's jump out to the map, and I think we've set a few traps. Yeah, here's a spot where we've got some traps placed. Let's just check it. Okay, zoomed in right next to it. I like to kind of stay out away from it. That's the only one I set at this location, apparently. But not to worry, nothing's there, so this will pass a little bit of time. Like, you might notice the daylight getting lower as we travel. Alright, it is ready now, so I don't think I have a log here. No, we need a workbench or working surface. Also a beater. Beaters are easy. All I need is like a large stone, which we'll have to go find too. All right. Well, sun's almost down and we're cold, but here I am going to traipse off into the forest to look for a tree trunk and a stone. It occurs to me, I think there was a trunk up this way that I just left behind. There it is. No, that's a slender trunk. We'll pick that up anyway, though. It's good to have all the resources we can carry. Huh. What did I do with that? Well, let me see if I can locate one. Oh, here we go. So I haven't found a log yet, but it's hard to see it, but there is a large stone just ahead of me here. What's going on? Oh, there's a tree in front of me. So let's grab the rock and the stone. Another slender trunk. We'll take that. Beautiful. Yeah, I've mentioned it before, but really the place to find these large stones is by a lakeside or on a mountain. So finding them in the forest too is occasionally you'll see them, but it's harder to spot them, obviously, because all the trees. Hey, look at that. A big old chunky log. All right, perfect. So we got to zoom out, but you can see I'm actually not too far from the clearing. I think our shelter is just a little bit to the south. There it is right there. All right, just to get my bearings, we'll zoom back in. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't take the log or the tree trunk to the world map. So another thing we want to avoid doing while we're moving this is to go over this ice here. I could probably walk over this small pond at this time of the year, but it would not be good to take this log over it. We would definitely fall in. Wouldn't necessarily be a death sentence because I could probably whip up a fire, but it would be tricky. All right, where the heck is this shelter? Let's see. He's getting tired quite quickly, but that's just because of our general starvation and the injuries we've got and stuff. Oh my gosh, I gotta find this place. Let's see. Okay, I think it's just down here. Come on, let's go, people. Oh boy, there it is. Man, oh man, that was kind of a treacherous hike to get this back. We are numbingly cold and we are very tired, but that's okay. So we definitely don't want to burn this thing. I'm just going to leave it right there. Let's step into our shelter. We're going to need a little bit of a drink before we go to bed. And I think we could probably stand a fire too. So we'll do a slender trunk. Whoops. And of course I need some tinder with that, so we'll throw in 3 branches too. I'm trying to keep these spruce twigs. Someone commenter pointed out that we can use this as bedding, so hopefully that'll help increase our warmth a little bit or maintain the warmth through the cold winter nights. So I'm going to keep a nice little pile of spruce twigs. I know eventually once we start to get some firs, yeah, the firs will also act as bedding too. But all right, anyway, I broke the ice, but I didn't take a drink, so let's make sure to drink. And yeah, make sure to eat too. This is something I've touched on in previous series, but sometimes it's easy to forget to feed your character. If you go a long duration where you're starving and you just don't have food to feed them, once you do finally get a kill, sometimes it's, yeah, like I say, easy to forget because you've just gotten into this routine of not feeding your character. All right, we've got a small fire. It should definitely get us warm. Might not quite last till morning, but let's just go to sleep. I think we're ready. It's after midnight. Oh boy. Hey, look, the bruise on our hip has finally healed. Let's take a look at his. Oh yeah, most of his injuries are very minor. I can tell that by the small degree with which these bars are filled. And the color here is just light green, so it's not too bad, not too bad. We'll get over all that stuff. And let's make sure to eat. Now, we've only got 15 roasted cuts left, but there's a stack of, I think it was like 22, 22 dried forest cuts, but those have close to 2 weeks to go before they're ready. So let's get this skin finished. We've still got it in my inventory. Oops. There we go. Winter rinsed foreskin. It's only 1.2 pounds. So it's not really going to be very much. Boy, I honestly don't know if we should. I want to get over to the Driik territory and trade, but I think we need to get another kill. Yeah, we need another full-grown reindeer or something. So let's drop some stuff. We're going to make room. And there's the fur. That's fine. We'll just leave that on the ground. Drop these slender trunks. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to take the food with us, even though that is actually quite a lot of food. It's 10 pounds. Let's just see. Yeah, but of course, as we go, we'll be eating it as we travel, so I think we'll take all of it with us. There we go. Get another drink. Okay, it is noon. There's still plenty of time in the day. Now, let's check our map because, yeah, okay. Just up here at this green X, that's where we killed the reindeer. Maybe we're going to head in that direction. I think that's smart. Okay, the green X is just ahead of us. But, you know, I think since it's starting to get later in the day, yeah, late afternoon, with the winter time like this, we don't have a lot of daylight. I think we're better off maybe setting up another shelter, but we'll do it up here. Yeah. So the red X's indicate 2 different campsites we've got with separate shelters, a little bit of firewood stashed away. This is the one where we just left too, so that's got that meat. But yeah, if we set one up here, that gives us this whole area to kind of search around. And again, it's so important for us to have a spot where we can camp out and warm up. You can see I'm already cool, you know. We definitely do not have enough clothing for this guy, so that's really the problem. But all right, let's find a nice little spot to set up. We're gonna need some branches. Excellent. And we also need some spruce twigs. Okay, good. Now we've got both of those. While I'm doing this, I'm keeping a real close eye on my warmth. If this gets to the cold level, I'm going to stop and build a fire. Of course, the real, risk is hypothermia, and it'll tell you you're freezing to death, is what it'll say right before you perish from hypothermia. But that cold, I consider when it says cold, that's my cutoff point. Chilly's fine. I'll still traipse around a little bit if it's chilly out. But yeah, when we get cold, that's when I stop. All right, let's cut this tree down. Oops, I just cut more branches down. Let's actually cut the tree. A bird enters our view. All right, there it is. And we've got what I believe is enough slender trunks. Yep. Problem is, we are now cold. So let's go ahead and set this on fire. And, crap, you know what? No, that's not. We'll just warm up for a very short amount of time. Okay, we're chilly now. Zoom back out. I want to set up the shelter near some water. So I think we'll move these just to the north up here a little bit. Okay, this is about a good spot. We'll put it directly next to this tree, but there's a little pond right there. Just one tiny little spot of water. Okay, so we'll stop moving. Let's go ahead and build a fire next to our position. Yeah, I've got some branches. We'll do 3 of these, and I've got 1 slender trunk just saved, set aside for fires. Boom, there we go. Okay, so that should warm us up while we're building our shelter. Another bird enters view. Okay, very good. And our man Greeve is fairly skilled at building. It's one of the reasons he's able to build that so quickly in just a couple hours. If you have a really, really poor building skill, even a simple shelter like this can take half a day, sometimes more. Okay, but we are very thirsty and hungry, so let's open up the water hole. Beautiful. Take a drink. Okay, and let's have some roasted reindeer. Hopefully we'll be able to get more of this in the morning. Whew, but he is tired, and I accidentally zoomed out. Let's do it. Go to bed. Wake up. Let's see, minor puncture in the thorax is fully healed. Awesome. You know what? I've just remembered, too. We need to try and remember to make sacrifices. Yeah, we want to keep ourselves in good terms with the spirit world. That can play a factor in your runs. You can ignore the spiritual aspects of this game, but, if you don't want to, if you just want to focus on survival, but it is there. All right, let's eat. I would say it's a low magic type of world, similar to, like Game of Thrones in its early stages. There's magic, but you don't see it all the time. At least not until the dragons start flying around everywhere. All right, so while we're here, let's go ahead and put a mark on this spot. We'll say this is now Camp 3. Beautiful. And that puts the X on the ground. Okay, we could stock this place up with a little bit more firewood, but for now, let's zoom out. I want to just rest. What am I carrying right now? Oh, I've got a bunch of... All right, let's actually go right back, and I'm going to drop the branches and the twigs. Yep, That's good. All right. Now we're at negative 23. That's not bad. That's not bad. Let's get out there and hunt. It's definitely been several days since we were at this location and saw the reindeer, so it's very possible they've moved on. I'm still going to zoom in, though. We'll go into stealth mode, and let's just peek around a little bit, see if we don't happen to run in to a reindeer herd. We've got tracks here. Let's check these out. Oh, look at this. You notice very fresh. Yep, they're still in this area. Let's find them. I'm going to jump out. There we go. So sometimes when you know there's animals in the general vicinity, because you've seen tracks, for instance, like we have, but you haven't spotted them, don't be afraid to jump onto the world map and just look around, because you can see they're right behind us. So now we're going to encounter them, and this should zoom us in. Yeah, so now we've got them in sight. There's one right there. Let's take a look at it. It's Forest Reindeer Stag. I'm going to peek behind myself real quick. Okay, there's nothing behind me. Let's chase after it. Let's get this guy. Nice. Okay, so we've got him on the run. We've got another one to the south of us. That is a small forest doe. I mean, we'll take either one, to be honest, but let's head this way. Okay, there she is. Yep, that's the small doe. She's a little bit fatigued. Let's start sprinting. What I'd like to do is maybe split her off, yeah, from her group or her herd. Okay. It's always easier to track them. Let's see. I've lost sight of her. It's not good. The longer she's out of our sight, too, the more chance she has to rest and get back with her group. Okay, this is bad sign. It's been too long. Let's jump out. We'll move one tile. Return. Let's see if we can reacquire the reindeer. We're getting chilly. Might not be a bad idea to stop and light a fire. But I don't want to give up just yet. Oh, there they are. There's the herd. Okay. Yeah, look at that. You can actually see it is sleeping down there. Sleeping forest reindeer tail. And she's recovered some of that fatigue now. It might just be the two of them. Is that all that makes up this herd? Is a big male and a female? Alright, let's move. See, one of the issues right now is there's so many tracks. I'm not sure. Oh, there he is. All right, let's try and cut her off. I'm going to start sprinting north. I want to, yeah, get between her and the male. Okay. Return to our walking speed. See, I see tracks everywhere, but there's too many tracks. It's hard to know exactly which ones are hers. I think we're on it, though. Oh, where is she? She went this way. Northeast. Oh, man. Just came into a big group of them. Dang. Yeah, this is definitely going to be tricky. Let's go back out. Move one square. Look around. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and we'll drop this tree here. I'm going to stay zoomed out, so in case they come across my vision, we'll see them. But yeah, we need to get warmed up. Okay, I am comfortably warm, but you can see by the light level that several hours have passed. There's some tracks right here. I've not seen them again. Southwest, several hours old. We're about ready to go to sleep, though. But, you know, again, this is another great reason why having that shelter close by is such a handy thing, because we're going to sleep, and in the morning we're coming right back out and going to try and find these dang deer. Whoa, coach, time out. We gotta take a break to recognize my Patreons. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. It means the world to me. And now back to the game. I'll see you guys on Discord. Oh boy, folks, let me tell you, Greeve is not having a good time right now. We're back to basically starvation again. We've still got a lingering effect from the meat in our body, but yeah, we're totally out of the roasted deer. And unfortunately, on day 3 of the 9th week before midwinter, I have not found that pack of deer. In fact, I think it's safe to probably go ahead and delete that marker. We'll do that with the mouse up here. Deer, A to edit, delete to delete. Yeah, unfortunately it happens. Not every hunt is successful, and I gave it enough time, surely, so it's time to move on. If we continue to hunt animals that don't exist, we'll starve to death. So I did spend the evening picking a whole bunch of flowers. This is actually heather, so I know for a fact it's safe to eat this, just based on the physical description of the plant, or the physical look of the plant, I should say, because I don't really know much about it in-game, but your character will know random plants depending on their herb lore skill. Now, one thing I never do is eat mushrooms. Yeah, unless I absolutely know what they are, because that'll get you killed. But we are cold. It's late evening or early evening. Let's go to bed. It's only, yeah, he's not very tired, so we're waking up fairly early in the morning. We're going to eat some more of the heather, and I'll probably cut down a bit more firewood. We're back at Camp 1, our original camp now. But the good news is we are in a great spot. If I come across more deer or an elk, yeah, we should be able to run it down. So I haven't given up yet. Okay, so we find ourselves at the farthest westerly point that we've been. But I've decided I think we will start to kind of make our way towards the Driik over here. Because, of course, we can still see, happen to get game and do hunting in their cultural boundaries. So it's not a big deal, but it's going to be a slow process. We've got to leapfrog from shelter to shelter. So you can see we're now cold, extremely tired. It's only late afternoon, but we woke up super early. So let's jump into this position. It's a good, decent spot. Let's look around here. So we're definitely near some water. It's a little bit too much water. Let's move around. Okay, this is better. We'll just set up a camp right here. Still got to get some twigs and some spruce branches. Okay, so we're in a bit of a bad situation here. We're bitterly cold, but we're ready to drop. I pushed them a little too hard. Maybe we're going to have to use the branches I just collected. We're going to set them on fire. And hopefully that'll warm... Oh, he just dropped to the ground. He's about to pass out. And that could be a really bad thing. Oh, I think we literally lit that fire just as he passed out. Wow, that was lucky. If we had passed out without lighting it, he would have frozen to death. So that was incredible. Okay, but we're hot. And we are weary now, so let's stand up. I've got this tree almost knocked down. Let's fell it. Yeah, it was just... He got real tired. We're still weary. Let me zoom out. Okay, we need to get some water. So let's take a quick break. And, of course, we've got a bit of heather, too. So we're going to fill our bellies with that. But that won't stave off starvation again. You need protein in this game. I think there's a few plants. I think hemp might be one of them. But yeah, that you could sustain yourself off if you had just an abundance of it. But meat is really the way to go. Alright, perfect. So we've got 3 of these. I'm going to move them down by this tree. I think this is where we want. And once again, now I need to collect more branches. So let's do that. More spruce twigs. You need both branches and spruce twigs for these little shelters that we're building. Oh, and we're extremely tired again. Okay, well, maybe we can get this done. They are still warm. Let's see. Let's not risk it. So, what do I need? If I go into it and look, it's 3 trunks, 20 spruce twigs. Oh, I was wrong. We don't need the regular ones at all. Okay, let's do this then. We're going to start a little fire right next to our position. Let's push the twigs, the branches. There we go. And we'll light those. Good. So now in case we do pass out again, which is possible, yeah, we won't freeze to death. All right. We got part of it built, but not much. So I'm going to push those into the fire, and let's just sleep for a little bit. Okay, we woke up cold, so the fire went out. See just how much of a struggle the weather can be to deal with if you're not properly clothed, which of course we lack that. Okay, so let's get another little fire started. There we go, and we'll continue to work on the shelter. Come on. Oh, okay, we need to continue. Whew. Okay, we got lucky there. I pushed him real hard. His vigor level's fine, but the warmth there, that was a bit touch and go. But, oh, man, now we can get inside the shelter. It's not going to warm us up, but it will definitely stabilize our temperature. And if we are able to at least get something going now. A little bit of a warming fire. Whew, there we go. Have a meal of some sweet flowers. Fill his belly up. There we go. And we can just wait for a minute. Alright, didn't warm him too much. Now, what we need to do is go ahead and get a bit more firewood for this location. For sure. So let's get some bedding for ourselves. Then we'll knock this tree down. Okay, that gave me quite a few. 5 of them. So let's move this. Move everything in this pile. Good. Oh boy, hold on. I'm just going to grab the spruce twigs. Yeah, that way we can kind of float right along there. Alright, perfect. Look at that. And we're going to push one. We got to warm up. So let's drop 3. And we'll drop the rest of that stuff on the ground. Excellent. Time to start the fire. Oh, the only thing we're missing is some nice warm meat to fill our bellies, truly. But we've got a fire. Let's get a bit of water going. See, it's always so important to set your base near some sort of watering source. Doesn't have to be right next to it, but yeah, within a short walk for sure. Okay, folks, man, oh man, so after all that camp crafting, we are tired and cold again. It's early afternoon, we're on day 5, so we are rapidly approaching the midwinter point, but we've still got a few weeks left. Now, it will start to get drastically cold, in probably like the 4th or 5th week before then, so we cannot give up our desperate hunt throughout the wilderness, but of course in this dead of winter, the animals are going to be just as unlikely to go out as we are, so it's a tougher hunt for sure, but I haven't given up yet. I hope you guys don't either. That'll do it for this episode, but make sure you tune in for the next one. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys on the next one.